Coach, how do you think a loss like this might affect your season going through until March? How do you think it might affect your team?
That's a tough question to try to grasp right now. I can tell you where we're at with it now. I told our players, I really want to establish an expectation of winning. I said, I don't care if we're playing the Boston Celtics. If we lose, that's a problem, all right? I want to expect to win, and I want to hurt if there's a loss. But I also want to build on the positives that we had. We had every player available to us come in and make some positive contributions. That's a big deal. That affects us positively moving forward. This experience for a lot of those kids coming off the bench, that's a big deal. Hopefully we grow from it. I think a lot of this season's going to be about the journey for this team and where we can go.
Coach, Jordana struggled with foul issues throughout the game. What was it like trying to work defensively, especially in the post, without her in the game?
Well, I like having Jordana in there as a option offensively and defensively. We get pretty small defensively when she's on the bench. I'll be honest with you, I thought about putting her back in there in the second quarter, but I was going to give us 10 points. And glad that I didn't honestly put her back in there because I thought we came back out in the third quarter really, really strong. We're just limited with our depth at the 5, and so we have to be creative on how we're going to play when we play bigger teams like this.
You talk about limitations at the 5, but also there were 10 Tigers that scored tonight. Sanaya Tyler played her first game. Just talk about how important it is to get her in the lineup and getting so much production from all those players.
Yeah, it was great to see Sanaya back on the court. She has been chomping at the bit. She wants it so bad, and she plays with great energy. I think you could immediately see the effect that she had defensively being on the court. She gives us another ball handler on the court offensively, and she's able to knock down some shots. She's only been in practice 2 days, so for her to come out and do what she did today was pretty impressive. I'm also hats off to our strength and conditioning and training room staff to keep her as game ready as possible for the last month. That's not easy to do. Now, I know she was pretty tired, two trips down, but really proud of her, and I think she's going to give us a lot of energy.
Coach, the free throw line was a bit of a struggle today. Are you going to go about to adjust this so this doesn't repeat?
Yeah, that's tough, man. We make free throws. That was not – I don't think we expected that. That's one thing we have been very consistent about, whether that's in practice or in games. So, really disappointed to see us miss so many in a game that mattered. Goodness, you make 4 or 5 of those, that could be a different game. So you've got to be able to handle the moment if that's what it is. You've got to step up with confidence if that's what it is. I can't really say we don't get enough reps because we've been shooting them really well. So that's just hopefully there's an urgency there next time out.
Coach, 22 assists for this Jayhawk squad, especially in that first half. They were really getting the ball down low. Seemed like they were getting some wide open layups. What did you see? Yeah,
they were carving us up pretty good there in the first half. We were switching up our defenses, and they had a beat on it. I thought for us we had some defensive breakdowns and didn't handle our system and our scouting report as well as we need to. But we know that's what they do. They're a little bigger than us. They can see over us a little bit to pass. Their size in the paint was bigger than us. And then especially when Jordana goes out, we were just limited, and took us to halftime to be able to regroup and get better at it and defensively.
Yeah, Coach Brandon was saying that he'd like to continue this series. You've been part of a lot of rivalries as a coach and a player. What does this one mean to you, and would you also hopefully like to continue this series with Kansas?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it's a lot of fun, and for me, the timing of this game honestly was really cool because I got to experience the football game in September. KU playing at Mizzou in September, and that was enlightening, to say the least. So I think the timing of having this, we actually talked about the rivalry with our team, and that was a good game. That was a really good game. That was a fun game, and I think I know there were a lot of kids here today, and my hope is these kids that were at the game or watching that. These are the teams they want to play for. That was pretty cool to have a elite level game with a lot of kids in the stands.
Coach, you found a lot of success in the post, both on driving and, like you said, through Jordana. Was that part of the game plan, or was that something that you just kind of adopted?
Yeah, the way we have played thus far is we emphasize our paint touches. So that's nothing new for our team. We know we want to get downhill, either drives, cuts, or passes. And we were, really the only thing, you look at the stat sheet, the only thing that bugs me is would like to have gotten Jordana a few more looks.
Coach, Elle Evans wasn't a pegged starter coming into this game, and she really dominated from three-point. How did your scouting change at halftime when you saw Elle Evans just lighting up from three?
Well, she was a knockdown shooter on our scouting report. So that was there was no adjustments that were made. I was disappointed that we did not handle some of their actions to get her open shots. That we practiced those. I'd like to see us handle the scout a little bit better next time. But we were very well aware of her ability to shoot the ball.
Coach, in the third quarter, there's a few times with Jordana in the post where there was some possible flop issues. What did you see on that? Did you think that there was some possible flopping in the post?
I don't really know what I'm allowed to say there. There's a lot going on in the post tonight, so they were they're playing hard. That's probably all I need to say.
Coach, Grace finishes with 16 points, but 6 of 16 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. How would you kind of evaluate her game as a whole, and especially on the offensive end?
Yeah, she obviously didn't shoot the ball as well from the three-point line as she's capable. I thought she had to take some pretty deep ones. They were covering her pretty good. She can get to the basket. Their size, I thought, forced her to take some tough shots. So we've got to, evaluate it. Do we need her to kick a few out and then work back to the ball? I think we share the ball pretty well. So I think if she has to kick some out, we can look for her back maybe in a better opportunity. But look, she's aggressive, and I love that about her. And I will never tell her not to be aggressive. That's important for us, And she's gonna make shots. So we're excited about her getting looks.
In the last 2 minutes, you were moving in Sanaya and Mariah a lot. And I don't think there's a statistical quantity that you can kind of put on the energy that they brought. Could you kind of speak to their difference in the last 2.5 minutes and even closing out the second half?
Yeah, I tell you what, you can look at the players on our bench that didn't play a lot of minutes were very effective. They made plays for us. So at the end, we were going offense, defense. We had Sanaya Tyler coming in defensively and Mariah Vincent coming in defensively. That was their job, to come in with energy. If they didn't bring energy, they probably weren't coming in. That was their job. And I appreciated in that moment they bought into what they were supposed to do. What did the team need in that moment? They're not worried about getting subbed in or out. They just did what they were supposed to do. That's a really good sign of team working together. They were in there to try to make plays defensively. We had some kids that, we felt like we needed to use some defensive subs. So.
Kelly's first loss of the season for your team, and as a head coach here, how would you like to see the team respond in the next couple of days?
Yeah, we talked about that in the locker room. I think the response has to be stellar. We'll be off tomorrow, back at practice on Monday, and tell you what, we got a lot of games next week. We have 3 games coming up next week, and the really cool thing about a loss is there's a game right behind it. So you get to get out and practice and work through this loss, prepare, and then go out and hopefully come out and perform well on Tuesday and find a way to get a win. And, you don't – I told them I want them to hurt today. I want them to hurt today. I want it to feel bad. But, boy, you wake up in the morning, it's a new day, and now we got to get moving forward.
Coach Shannon Dow had a quite efficient night for her. Didn't get to the free throw line as usually as she does. Kind of talk to me about her ability to drive the ball and what makes her so effective.
Shannon's fast. Shannon's got great speed, and Shannon's very aggressive. She has aggressive mentality. She's one of those players, every time she catches it, she's trying to figure out how she can get somewhere. How can she get to the basket? How can she make a play? Those players are hard to guard. Because they're constantly looking for something. You mess up, they're going to take advantage of it. Combine that with the speed. She's put on some muscle since we got her this summer, so I think she's playing more with more physicality now. So I like the way she's playing for us. I also think we're putting her in a pretty good position to be successful. I think that's one of the things with our offensive system. I'm really proud of how we're moving people around, and I think she's been a benefactor of that as well.